The good, the bad, the ugly today. Good stories, bad stories, ugly stories. We have a first responder. We'll call it a good story because he made the rescue, but honestly, he never should have had to make the rescue, and you could tell he's upset with the person because they put themselves in harm's way. This is all about putting yourself in harm's way, I guess. A woman who is a TikToker, she and her friend decided to go into a washing machine and see if they could get a lot of views on TikTok, and the woman got stuck inside the washing machine.
In operation or just in one?
They were going
dry?
Dry. They were going to turn it on.
Yes.
Front loader, top loader?
Front loader.
That's important.
And that's where you get the window.
Front loader.
Top loader, there's no drama.
The idea was for this woman who on TikTok to go into the front load washing machine with the window, and she was going to. Her friend was going to turn her on and let her spin for a second, and then stop it and get her out and show it on TikTok.
Now, is that a dryer or the washer?
This was a washer, and
those lock.
Well, they do, but then when you stop it, you can get her out, right?
Sometimes it's hard to.
I don't have
once they're in motion, you have my machine. You can stop it at a certain point, but once it's kind of left the station,
it's gone.
It's got to run through its cycle.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's got to get into the next level of whatever it's got to do.
Mine, you can hit cancel, but you have to hold it for like 3 seconds. But even then, if it's like spinning or something, it spins itself out.
Yeah, you better know.
And you can't open it until it stops spinning.
Now, one time I forgot to put my Tide Pod in, and I couldn't. I was just banging on it for that.
Let me in.
You need the Tide Pod.
Because my wife will know if I don't put. Because I'm supposed to put 3 Tide Pods in because my stink.
Wow,
I know.
3?
I go 3. Yeah. I told you about when I went to the laundromat recently.
Yeah, I knew you went.
What an adventure! I love it.
Hello, I am Common Man too.
Saw a guy with an ankle bracelet on, like a home monitor, and I thought, "What are you doing here? Should you be out with an ankle bracelet on? Because I mean,
Well, maybe he wasn't allowed to leave the county.
Maybe okay. I was going to ask.
Maybe he has to be home by a certain time.
Gotta have clean clothes.
Okay, I was going to ask about that. He was there with his girlfriend.
Of course.
Wow, hello, felon. I see you have a girlfriend. Good for you.
Terrific.
Do you get conjugal visits?
Well,
what do you think this is?
And I noticed and I saw it was buckled on. Yeah. But I didn't want to say anything about it. But I stared. And then the guy next to me, I nudged him. Take a look.
Look at this.
Take a look down here.
You wash that on delicate?
Right. Oh, I think I overloaded one, though, because the door kept swinging open after it started, like on the dryer. The door would
really?
Yes, it did.
Oh, you did, yeah.
And my duvet came flying out onto the floor.
Everybody laughed.
Yeah. Bring a duvet to a laundromat. Look what you're doing.
You got to bring that to a pro.
I know.
They have the bigger machines.
I should have. Anyhow, this guy is the fireman, who came in and had to rescue the woman who was stuck in the washing machine, and the rescue, of course, was caught on camera.
Here we go. I'm going to lift you up again.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Is it working?
Cindy, I'm putting this on the internet.
No.
Yes. I'm going to put this on YouTube right now.
We can get you out, okay?
Let her head come out.
No, we can't.
Let me see your head.
Okay.
Dude, you're never doing a dare again.
Ladies,
Yeah,
I don't think you understand that you will be paying for this 911 call. I'm trying to do my job here. Now get your feet back out, ma'am. Wrap them in this towel right here.
So he was agitated. Because,
I would be too.
Yeah, the woman.
Yeah, leave her.
Agitated. I see what you did there.
You got that? He was upset.
Stick your head out so I can get a picture.
You say leave her.
Yeah, I say leave her because you have her who clearly, to me, is hamming it up. Oh, no, don't put it on the internet. That's her job.
That's right. That's what they do. That's right. And they're both internet influencers and TikTokers.
Yeah.
Trying to go viral with something
Did
like
they pay for the 911?
They did. They had to pay for the 911. He said, you're going to have to pay for me to come out.
Is that what you do?
I didn't think you did that.
Well, I think you pay because his emergency services vehicle was there, right? Isn't that the whole thing? If he's got the fire truck or the ambulance or whatever there?
I think if you'd get an ambulance ride, you pay for it, but I don't think
That's a different ball game.
911 ought to be free, don't you think?
I think
you called it right when
yeah.
J&P came back.
Yeah, you paid for
Yeah,
that.
I didn't have to pay for that. When the cops came, and I didn't have to pay anything for that. They made a visit.
He might have just been saying that.
Maybe.
They did get quiet when he said it.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe he wanted to. That's a good point. You're right.
Yeah, ambulance rides are not free. We've learned that years ago.
Those are about $700-800.
No kidding. Man. Bad story today from Charlotte, North Carolina. A Charlotte Mecklenburg middle school teacher. She's a French teacher. Her name is Amani Barner. excuse me, the person, the Amani Barner is an 8th grader who recorded a video at Randolph Middle School in Southeast Charlotte and told Channel 9 that the French teacher was smoking a cigarette while in the classroom. And apparently that is
true French.
That's right.
Ennui.
So the French,
while wearing a beret.
yes, wearing a beret.
Well, the master of the French New Wave has passed.
And a pencil-thin mustache.
We lost Godard.
This is the student.
I did smell a scent of cigarette smell, so I wasn't sure what to think about it at the time. He flicked a cigarette at another student who sat right behind me, which immediately alerted me.
Wow, and it's still wow. It's brazen. After hearing about it and actually seeing it and just the nonchalance of it all was pretty bold.
I was at school at the moment, so I was able to show one of the administrators they could handle my teacher.
That student in classroom and parent later. He was smoking.
That's how the French smoke. You know what we call that? Immersion.
I don't know why it is. I wasn't mad at this guy. I don't know why, but I mean,
of course, it's against every rule for more than 20
years at least. And I was the founder of SAS, Students Against Student Smoking, when I was in the 8th grade.
You were a sasshole.
Well, we don't say it out like that. I started a group called Students Against Student Smoking. Newer listeners to this program may not know it.
Yeah, you were a little sassy one.
You were sassy.
Spearheaded it, put up posters in every bathroom, no smoking in this bathroom, Students Against Student Smoking, and other students were smoking. And
they used their lighters to set this, your posters on fire?
They set my poster, and they wrote bad things on my poster.
And I'm pretty sure the nicotine eventually corroded the posters from all the smoking in the bathroom.
Turned to yellow.
That's true.
They scratched out the first S.
Such a different time. I mean, the school designated a smoking area.
I know.
You guys, if you're going to smoke, if you have to smoke, you got to do it
behind the cafeteria.
Away from the building, behind the
Ours was
cafeteria.
right next to the shop.
Or near the vocational building. That's right.
Near the physical plant.
Yeah.
That's right. But I got to tell you, when I heard about this teacher smoking in the classroom, I just wasn't that mad. I don't know why. I just was like, all right, so what? He smoked a cigarette.
But it's shocking, especially to a student of today.
Oh, absolutely.
You heard her.
Yeah.
What? Someone smoked? Yeah, used to. They'd smoke in the teacher's lounge, of course. And the students were even allowed to smoke if you were over 16. If you wanted to, you could do it. But yes, he's been suspended, and they're looking at firing him because of it.
Now conjugate fumar.
But I'm with Chris Demm. This is a French classroom, immersion, and guy needs a little calmness of his nerves. He's around these kids all the time.
It's a little early in the year for that kind of thing.
Yeah, it is early.
I mean, have we even had our first 6 weeks report card yet?
No, not yet.
Or right around it?
We're close. We're closing in now.
Close.
Yeah, my son, what was he reporting?
How's he doing?
Let's see. He came in yesterday, and he said, man, I just bombed a civics test. And he'd already told me he thought he was going to do well on it. He's like, I bombed it. It was all about like the Senate and stuff.
Yeah,
those were his exact words. And I said, what'd you make? He said, I made a 50, but it's green, it's green, it's green.
A 50 is green?
A 50. And I said, well, how can it possibly be green? You made a 50. He goes, my average is a 72, bruh. And then he said, plus, got a project, hooked myself up with some big-time smart nerds. We're all together in a group. It's green. I wanted to throttle him. I just wanted to throttle him right there. He's like,
well, it's almost over.
Is it?
Well, his run through academia.
You tell me, Dave.
After the next summer. After summer, it will be over.
You won't have to get gray hair about that anymore.
I hope not. I believe, hopefully you're right. Exactly. Did you see this? This was terrible. Speaking of teenagers, this group of grown women who beat up and robbed some teenagers on a subway.
I've only seen the headline. I haven't seen the video, but it sounds surreal. Are these like those green weird suits?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen the video.
Yeah.
It's one of the most bizarre things. I'd like some backstory on it.
Yeah, it's very weird.
If the teen said something to him, but it is
I don't think so. Because they're all dressed
bizarre.
Head to toe in a green leotard. I mean, you can't see any of their face or anything, and they're on a subway.
But we're sure that the victims are real victims. They weren't in on it.
No, because I think the parents of some of the teens have come forward and said, this was an attack. These people need to be found.
And they're saying this would be very
How
difficult.
would you describe them?
Well,
green.
Yeah,
from head to
impossible.
toe.
They're saying impossible to find them. And some witnesses talked about it.
This group of neon green spandex wearing women just flooded the car. These two poor girls were like having to take on like 10 women, and it bled into the car, and no one really knew what was going on. It was so chaotic, and no one went in to help.
Subway in New York City, and no one really knows. It's a robbery. I mean, they took their wallets and stuff.
If I had to guess, I know nothing about it. It has to be targeted, right? They have to know these victims.
You think?
Maybe, or they know the stop.
Or if you just want money or phones or whatever, you just go onto a Subway and people look at you like, that's strange looking, and then you take from whoever a victim who looks like they won't fight back, like teenage girls, which is what these are, and then they leave and there's no identifying them. Yeah. You know, they're wearing green spandex from head to toe. Yeah. It's like...
Is that one of those things where New Yorkers are so jaded they don't even blink if they see a group of people? Because presumably they had to get a ticket, go through the turnstiles,
that's right,
wait for the train.
I bet nobody said a word.
Not only that, there's other people on the train when this attack is happening. One guy just steps out of the way.
Yeah, that won't help the girls.
No, in New York, it's like, keep your head down.
You don't want to get involved.
Yeah. Anywhere.
I mean, how crazy is.
Right. I mean, somebody steps in, they wind up getting shot. You just don't know these days, of course. I don't know. I would like to think that I would help a teen girl being attacked, though. Don't you think, Dave?
No, I think twice about that.
I'm sorry, Dave. I didn't mean to put words in your mouth.
No, it's okay. There's orders.
But if you see teen girls being attacked by spandex-laden women on a
clearly out of their minds, you going to jump into that melee?
I think I would. For teen girls, I think I would. I'd say something.
In New York City.
Woo, 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 woo.
I think it's one thing in your own hometown, but if you're not from New York and you go to New York, and you say, first of all, you don't know what the hell's going on.
Right. But don't remember, by the way.
You're the Rube in the big city.
I remember Rome.
When I was in Rome, on the streets of Rome, I saw someone trying to pickpocket a woman who had her bag hanging down by the ground, and she was window shopping. And the store was closed. It was night, and he was swarthy looking. I mean, a 3-day growth of beard.
He's Italian.
He's dirty. And I went up behind him and went, woo, woo, woo. Well, he stopped. They both looked at me and stared at me, and then he moved on. And I just said to the woman,
"You're welcome."
Yeah. I don't know how to say it in Italian, but still, I said, "You're welcome." Well, we challenged somebody. When I told that story, we challenged someone to remix. They call it the clapper. Woo, woo, woo.
You were the superhero.
Yes. And we did have a P1 listener come forward and remix that. I told this story 6 weeks ago, and this is what it said. Ooh. There's your remix of the clapper.
I like the little octave changes.
Yeah. The point is, Dave,
this is superior work.
Here's the point. I step in to help.
You're a guardian angel.
Once in 51 years.
Exactly. I'm a person who
We'll get you a beret and put you on a subway.
Right. That's right. That's what I need.
A red beret.
Yes.
Anthony, a comment on these 14 girls that were attacked, bullied, and robbed on a subway in New York by spandex-laden women. Anthony, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a bigger fella, so stuff like that, I would step in and help. But in that situation, I wouldn't, because I would think it's some kind of TikTok or YouTube stunt.
Yeah, a lot of people. That's right.
That's the world we live in.
That's right.
100% right.
I mean, the previous story was two girls trying to get into a washing machine. Why?
Just because.
Just call it TikTok or whatever.
Yeah.
You know? Thank you, Anthony. That's right. You would think it would be a stunt like that. There's one more story here today, and it's about Chick-fil-A. It's a restaurant I go to from time to time.
I've seen it.
The evidence.
Once or twice.
I thought so, Dave. There's a sickening video today of two Chick-fil-A workers in Tennessee. They've been fired now after one recorded the other spitting into the batter that they dipped the chicken in.
Oh, hell no.
God, is that disgusting or what? It is disgusting.
I don't think I've ever heard of this company being in a bad light.
No,
or any of their employees.
West Memphis, they were mixing chicken batter vigorously, and one leaned over a large bowl where they were mixing and spit into it, while the coworker recorded the quote-unquote sickening moment. Chick-fil-A says we've been made aware of this video circulating on social media depicting the behavior of a team member. That is completely unacceptable. We've identified the team members.
Both taking their iPads?
Their headsets.
And they're no longer allowed to say, "It's my pleasure."
Ever. They go. Now, we got a call once, years ago, from a woman, and we've speculated this was at Chick-fil-A. We don't know. But at the time, they did have lemon pie. I don't think they have lemon pie anymore. Am I right on this? I think they just have brownies and cookies.
Yeah,
now.
I don't call lemon pie.
But I think this lady told us she was at Chicken and Pickles.
She did.
Yeah, she told us off air she was at, and anyway, she said that she was taking her child home from a dentist appointment and watching through the drive-through window.
Several years ago, my son always had the very first dentist appointment, so I would stop by a fast food restaurant on the way home and get breakfast before I took him on back to school. We were in the drive-through, and of course there were several cars in front of us before we got to the pickup window, and he and I observed a little girl in the back slicing a lemon pie to put in individual boxes, and every time she would slice that pie with this big knife, she would take the knife and run it down her tongue and lick both sides.
Oh, the tongue.
Oh, my God.
I was praying for a finger.
I said to my son, I am going to tell the manager. He said, no, Mama, don't you do that. Don't you do that. He wouldn't let me do it. But I thought I would never, ever buy a piece of lemon pie from that restaurant.
Good gracious. That is awful.
It is, but boy, she was getting the good. Right? She with the knife. She knew what she was doing.
Both sides.
She's making minimum wage, but she's getting that.
Both sides of that knife.
I'm sure anytime there was pie needed, she was like, I got it.
Those pies should be out of the oven in about 5 minutes.
I'll do it.
I got him.
Oh, my God. So true. She was loving every second of that. And the pie was served later for lunch.
That's living.